Well, no Olympics these days can get by without being green. Now, Sydney, of course, had its home bush clean-up, and so too here. This was, by many accounts, a bit of a mess beforehand, and someone that knows exactly is Holly Noak, because she's responsible for the whole environmental aspect of the construction here. Congratulations on the site here. Tell me the main credentials that make it green.
Well, I mean, it's such a myriad of things that the approach to sustainability on the site, but some of the really big operations that we've had have been the clean-up of the soil. So this was quite an important site historically for industry. We had ammunitions factories here from World War II, lots of different chemical factories that left a legacy of contamination behind.
What sort of nasty did you have to look after?
There was arsenic, there were heavy metals, petrochemicals, so we had what we called a soil hospital on site, and we cleaned around 2 million tonnes of soil. Really everything that you can see has gone through that soil hospital, and we managed to use about 80% of the soil back on site, which was great for avoiding landfill and heavy traffic on the roads.
Tell me about the trees and the flowers, and that's a huge planting operation, and getting them just right for the Olympics.
Yeah, we've managed that. It's in terms of all of the wildlife creation, all of what you can see here is new. There's something like 4,000 new semi-mature trees on the site, 60,000 bulbs, about 300,000 wetland plants, and all of this area was actually carved out because there's a risk of severe flooding in this area. And by designing the wetlands in the way that we have, we've protected around 4,000 homes from severe flooding in this area. So yeah, it's been a massive operation on many accounts.
What about environmental issues or services you've provided for the actual buildings themselves?
Well, they're all very unique, but we had a set of sort of a guiding set of targets for each of them. Things like reducing the carbon footprint of each venue by around 50% against the kind of the standard building regulations. Very water efficient. When I started on this project, England had a long way to catch up to Australia in terms of water efficiency, but you know, I think we're kind of getting there, and we did surprisingly have a drought in London this year. So yeah, they've all got different features: rainwater harvesting, natural lighting, and natural ventilation and things like that. Now,
you're an Australian, obviously.
Yep.
You've been here in England for some time. How did you get this job? But how did an Australian get this?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just a lot of luck. I moved over here almost 9 years ago, very much interested in the climate change work that was going on in England at the time, and yeah, I think it's just being in the right place at the right time. But my first roles on the park were to do with water, so obviously I had my experience from Australia, and I worked for a water utility in Australia, and energy as well. So, and that's just evolved into the role that I have now.
Well, this is obviously an enormous challenge. It hardly gets bigger than this. How do you top this?
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna have a baby in November, so.
Well, it's another environmental project.
I think that's the next step for me.
You'll be dealing with other cleanups of other sorts,
yeah,
on a very regular basis.
Good practice. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think for anyone who comes off a project like this, there's a bit of the bubble bursts. But yeah, I'm going to head back to Australia and see what happens over there.
Now, for the people here, the thousands, tens of thousands, actually 250,000 a day. Tell me how you've observed their interaction with your work.
Oh, that's been by far the most rewarding part of this. I think, I mean, you know, all the people that you can see, this, you know, it's been a construction site for me. I've been on site for, you know, almost 5 years now, and, you know, it's just wonderful to see people, you know, in the wetlands and just enjoying the small stuff, taking photos of the wildlife as well as the sport. It's been fantastic. But I think I mean, this is great now, but for me it's always been about what happens after the games for the communities around here, and we've really reclaimed a piece of land. We've created the largest park in England for 100 years, and that, you know, when the gates come down from the Olympic Park, it's their park.
When you think of what it was and what it is, what sort of satisfaction does that give you?
I'm just immensely proud. I think, you know, there's lots of gold medals being won, and fortunately for Australia as well now, but you know, I really think the pride, there's been 40,000 people that have worked on this site, and each one of them, you know, walks away with such a sense of pride in delivering something that's really special.
So a moral gold medal for you all then?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much for talking to us, and good luck with the baby.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the games.